the Samsung Galaxy A37 and A57, which have just been announced recently, and myself and Enabang have had a chance to test. Interesting devices. So we've got the same polycarbonate frame for the A37 and aluminium frame for the A57. 4 colors, both of them come in. All of them are called awesome. I'm not going to go into the names of every single one of those colors. A few improvements compared to last year. So we've got IP68 from IP67. And although the A37 remains the same in terms of the size and pretty much when it comes to the weight as well, the A57 is now the thinnest A series ever. So it's around 0.5 millimeters thinner compared to the A56. And it's also around 19 grams lighter. And I think this is something that you really can feel. And I think this is where Samsung's kind of like trying to push that thinness across all of their devices. The A37 has pretty much the same display, but the A57 now has a 6.7-inch Full HD Plus display, Super AMOLED Plus as well, which is why it allows it to be a thinner display, and it also consumes less power. Smaller bezels on the A57. However, there is still that chin, man.
Yeah. No, it's never going away.
This is the thing. Like, some people are going to be like, dude, just be quiet. It doesn't really matter. But my point has always been, there are other devices, especially the Nothing phones, right? So if you look at the Nothing 4A or the 4A Pro, they've got uniform bezels and they look better from the front. That's my point. I don't know why Samsung, considering Samsung is the pioneer of AMOLED displays, why are you not doing that for the A series? But anyway, cameras, we've got 12 megapixel selfie camera on both devices. You've got 8 megapixel ultra wide on the A37. On the A57, you've got 12 megapixels. You've got 50 megapixel primary cameras on both devices with a 1.0 pixel size, which is a decent size pixel, and the shot-to-shot speed has also increased on both devices. And then we've got a 5 megapixel macro camera. Now, this is one thing that always kind of frustrates me. It's like, yes, I know you want to have the symmetry there. You want that triple ring design that you've got with other devices, but it's such a useless macro camera, right? If you look at other devices, again, in this price range, I'm using Nothing as an example, but there are others. OnePlus have a few examples as well on their side. You're going to get better cameras. You're going to get a more versatile camera, should we say. This is another thing. What do you think of 5 megapixel macro cameras?
Trash. Let's just call it what it is. Trash. To me, one of the interesting things with the A57 is Samsung has devalued the device over the years because the price point is $499, right?
So pounds is £529 for the A57. The A37 starts at £399, but you have to remember that the A36 started at $399 as well, but it had double the storage, 256 gigabytes versus 128. The A57 starts £30 more.
Sorry, A57 is $599 in the US. So I made a mistake on that price. The reason I talked about the devaluation is, number one, the processor. The processor here is an Exynos 1680, right? I wish it was an Exynos 2500 from last year instead of this, right? Or even give us the Exynos, the new one, 2600, because it's going in no other place other than Samsung devices. You might as well put it in somewhere. But if you give me last year's Exynos, the 2500, I would have been happy.
Yeah.
Now, when I stack it across the board within this price range now, what are the devices here? A57, Nothing 4A Pro, Pixel 10A, and the iPhone 17e. Stack all of them together, right? What are you picking? For me, it's a Nothing 4A Pro. The bigger battery, it looks like much better cameras, Snapdragon 7 whatever series processor, which is a better processor. And then I would go with probably the A17e as my second in there. And then even the Tensor with the Pixel might be my third.
So this is moving it down quite significantly. Now, okay, one advantage that Samsung does have is the software updates. They're offering 6 years of OS updates and 6 years of security updates, 7 years for business-to-business customers, which is all well and good, but you have a limited set of Galaxy AI features, right? So you've not got the full-fledged Galaxy AI features. Battery, 5,000 milliamps, which is decent, right? Okay, with 45 watts of charging, no wireless charging though. Now, I've got a slightly different point to you. I totally agree with your points, by the way. There is a lot more competition in this market. But my point is that the S25 FE from last year, okay,
Okay. Didn't
right?
see.
Exynos 2400. You have a usable 8-megapixel telephoto camera, no macro camera. You have wireless charging. You have the full suite of Galaxy AI features. Not like a selection of a few. You have a full suite of Galaxy AI features. Now, I checked the price of the S25 FE. This is before Samsung announced the A57. And guess how much it was on Amazon? Directly from Amazon, the official S25 FE, £500. Okay? As soon as Samsung announced it, the price jumped up to £650. So that tells me that Samsung were aware of this, very, very much aware of this, right? That look, if we sell the S25 FE for £500, and then we're going to be charging £530 for the A57, which does not match what the S25 FE has, then who's going to buy the A57?
Okay, here's a question I want to pose, because I think Samsung is running into a problem that BMW ran into. There's too many SKUs. There's too many SKUs. So, the A series has always been their largest volume selling series, right? And I get it. Even the A57 for a while, there was a period in time where it was one of their best selling. But then again, that was also running like the 7 series Snapdragon, whatever it was called at the time.
Yeah.
So I can understand you keeping that. And I'm going, Samsung, if that's the case, don't release an FE, right? Like, there's no need for an FE if you're going to make the A sort of your FE. Or if you want to do the opposite way around, keep the A27, 37, like that's super budget phone. Forget the A57 and make the FE what it should be, that hybrid in between. Because as a customer, we're looking at, if you're looking at the top tier, you're going Ultra plus regular. Plus is just there for fun. We know that. So it's Ultra and regular at that point. And then you're going, okay, I need something in between that attracts people who just don't have enough to go up there, but are very comfortable in that like $500 to $600 price range. You have to pick a device. You can't pick and choose, because again, it's Android ecosystem, when customers start looking at the details of the devices, you just said it right there. I was mentioning competitors. You went, just look last year. Heck, what is the price of last year's regular S25 from last year?
And that's something we're going to have to look at. So the
How
S25,
far off is that?
S25 from last year, right now, I'm just going onto Amazon. You can get it for about £544. This is not directly from Amazon, so it's like a third-party seller. But again, I'm sure you'll be able to find it for a decent value. The other thing I want to mention right now is, while we were talking, I had a look on Amazon again, and although the £500 offer has gone for the S25 FE, you can get a voucher which will bring the price down to around £560, right? Again, even for £560, I would still say go for the S25 FE instead of the A57. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you've got a better device, which is going to be way faster. You're going to have a better camera. All of these things, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I think the views on the videos and the coverage, like, there hasn't been as much excitement on the A series this year as it was last year. I think last year we had better deals. I still mentioned the same thing in comparison to the S24 FE, but still you had a bit more of a compelling package there. But I think this time it's pretty tricky, man. It's going to be a tough sell.
Yeah, no, I mean, looking at the S25 pricing here in the US, it's still around 700 from Samsung on Amazon. But you can find from third parties a little lower, around about 680. Renewed, which is basically used and just basically refurbished properly, is 400. I
So
would
there you
take
go.
that at $430. I would take that at 430, because I know I have a device that is tied to the 7-year updates, has drastically better performance.
Yep.
Overall.
So yeah, Samsung, I think definitely when it comes to the A series, you need to be going back to the drawing board because this pricing, yes, I understand the storage crisis and everything, but when you've got your own devices, forget the competitors, when you've got your own previous year devices that are way better, that are priced similarly, it's a no-brainer. I think one area where it will do well and has always traditionally done well is when it comes to B2B, because when you're looking at B2B, you're going to get discounted prices. You're going to be buying in bulk. You want to buy them brand new from Samsung, so you have all of the support, you have the security. I think that's where they're going to be popular, but for regular consumers, maybe not so much.
Yeah, I agree.
I hope you enjoyed that clip. If you want to hear the full podcast episode, then that will be linked down below. And if you want to see more clips like this, then be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you don't miss them.